from arrest for criminal violations. So I want to believe strongly, and I boldly assert that by picking him up today by the DSS has not committed any offense.
But on Thursday, when he went to meet the DSS or the police that invited him, why wasn't he arrested at that time?
Well, the security agencies are always doing their job 24/7.
Okay.
Maybe new developments warranted this arm of our security agency in effecting this arrest. Don't forget, the IRT and the DSS are not the same institution. They are different security agencies performing different roles. So I want to believe strongly that maybe recent developments with regards to his activities must have influenced his being arrested today.
Okay. Earlier you said nobody is immune except
under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Except the governor,
deputy governor, president, and vice
president.
president. Yeah.
Okay. When he was picked up this morning, a warrant of arrest was not issued. So would you say the arrest was legal?
Well, I don't know whether those who said a warrant of arrest was not issued or maybe the arrest was illegal. But you and I know very well that the Nigerian Labour Congress, of which he is the president, has a legal arm.
Okay.
So one will expect that if they believe that his right was violated in his arrest, then they know what to do. But I won't sit down here and speak up what I don't have the fact. Because you don't expect the DSS to flaunt the warrant of arrest in the, on the pages of newspaper or in front of everybody there. They must have, got into interaction with him, tell him why they're arresting him, whatever reasons or whatever documents they have to buttress their reasons for arresting him. So I don't have that fact.
Okay. This arrest, could it be connected with threat to security and the charges you earlier mentioned?
I suspect, but I'm not too sure. I don't work in the DSS. We can just speculate. But for anybody to have been, invited for questioning with regards to such grave crime, alleged offenses that is very grave to democracy and national security, then it means that person must be somebody that, the whole society must place on watch list. Okay. Because not everybody will be involved in such level of activities that he has been alleged for. But be that as it may, we will just admonish the security agencies to respect his rights. And if they have any reasons to take him to court, they have the powers.
How long do you think he could be held on to for?
Don't forget, the security agencies are institutions created by law. And the law, specifies how they should perform their job. And the law also guarantees the rights of citizens, of which Mr. Joe Ajero is a Nigerian citizen whose right is guaranteed under law. So under the law, there's a number of days for which it could be kept. And if they want to extend beyond those constitutionally provided number of days, they have to seek the permission of the courts to do that. Okay.
Now let's look at the NLC itself. Last week, when he was going for his to the police station for his invitation, there were different angles to it. Like one of them was, look, if he was detained, if he was arrested, there will be a protest against that. So now that he has been arrested, and I know that the NLC have been meeting, what do you think will be the outcome of this arrest on the NLC as a body?
Well, I expect the NLC to recognize that the life of 220 million Nigerians is more important than just a single life. If a man who is the president of the NLC is alleged to have links with activities that could torpedo our democracy and also compromise national security, because I expect the NLC to be a patriotic body that will put the interests of the generality of Nigerians uppermost in whatever they are doing. So if the president of NLC has been alleged, don't forget, the NLC has not been alleged of being involved in cyberbullying or all this crime, all this alleged crime. If the president of the NLC has been alleged, of which, even before the invitation of the NLC president, we are all privy to the fact that an international terrorist was declared wanted and is on the run in Britain. I think what the NSC should be doing now is commending the Nigerian police as well as other security agencies and promising their full cooperation to ensure that national security of the generality of the Nigerian people is not undermined in any form. So the meeting of the NLC, I want to strongly believe, is about protecting national interests rather than the interest of one man.
Okay. So what do you think the effect will be on the economy of Nigeria over a proposed strike if the NLC president is not released?
I think we need to inform or admonish the NLC that we are not a lawless society. We're a country governed by laws. They can only go on strike if there's law and order.
Okay.
If there is a breakdown of law and order, we all know what happens. So we must admonish the NLC that they cannot continue to intimidate and blackmail the Nigerian people.
Can you expatiate on that?
If an officer or the president of the NLC or any other executive officer of the NLC has been alleged, don't forget, the police or the DSS is not the courts. Whatever allegations that the security agencies have against Mr. Ajaero has to be proven in court. So threatening strike based on invitation, threatening strike based on arrest, I don't think that is civilized enough. One would expect the NLC to say, well, we are following this development, we are going to ensure and provide him all legal means to, to be availed of his rights, such that if he is found, if the evidences are not enough to take him to court, that, will backpedal and not, make any threats of doing anything. But if the evidences to take him to court are there, then we have no option than to support even the government of the day in ensuring that the rule of law takes preeminence.
But is the NLC not fighting for the interest of Nigerians?
The interest of Nigerians is the collective interest, is the national interest. So if you are fighting for a national interest, the interest of the collectivity of Nigerians, we expect that if anybody within the NLC has been alleged, this is just an allegation. Right now, he has been suspected and he has been invited for questioning by the Nigerian police. The DSS has not come out publicly to tell us anything as we speak.
Okay.
So one will expect that what the DSS is doing is about protecting national security.
Okay.
And for them to have taken that course of action, I think we must commend them because it's about protection of all of us. So the NLC as a body must be patriotic enough to raise its own legal team to interface with the DSS to say, come on, gentlemen, what is happening here? If you have reasons that our president has committed a wrong, then let the law take its course. But if otherwise, you have to respect the laws of the land.
Okay, thank you very much. The NLC should be patriotic enough. We've been talking with Nelson Ekujimi, a public affairs analyst, over the arrest of NLC President Joe Ajaero. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Labour Congress has demanded for the immediate and unconditional release of its president, Comrade Joe Ajaero. The NLC described Monday morning's arrest, Comrade Ajaero, as an unmistakable demonstration of the height of lawlessness being perpetrated by the agencies of government in their bid to silence every voice of dissent and opposition in the country. A statement signed by the NLC Head of Information and Public Affairs, Benson Upa, said such actions are not only undemocratic but immoral, as well as a direct affront to the fundamental rights of citizens and organizations to lawfully express their views and carry out their activities. However, the Congress has put all its affiliate state councils, civil society allies, and all patriotic Nigerians on the highest state of alert. Also, the NLC has called on the international community, human rights organizations, and all advocates of democracy to take note. Comrade Joe Ajaero was seized and whisked away by agents of a Nigerian state while on his way to the United Kingdom on the invitation of the Trade Union Congress in Britain. Now, in other news, President Bola Tinubu has sent a heartfelt condolence to the government and people of Niger State on the petrol tanker explosion on the Bida Age Lapai Road on Sunday in Niger State, which claimed the lives of 48 people and livestock. According to the Niger Emergency Management Agency and the Federal Road Safety Corps, many people were injured in the accident, which also involved a truck loaded with cattle and passengers. President Tinubu commiserated with the families of the dead and injured victims. He also sympathized with the owners of shops affected by the tragedy. He prayed for the speedy recovery of the injured. A statement from the Office of a Special Advisor on Communication and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, said the president commended the federal and state emergency agencies for their swift response and good-spirited Nigerians who moved to the incident scene to assist the victims. He pledged continued support for efforts aimed at providing relief to those affected. Mr. President has directed relevant federal agencies in transportation and road infrastructure to redouble their efforts and work with state government to enhance the safety and security of travelers and residents. Also, the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has commiserated with the Governor of Niger State, His Excellency Muhammad Umar Bago, and the people of the state on the tragic loss of lives and properties which occurred on Sunday, September 2024 as a result of a tanker explosion. She said thoughts and prayers are with them all, especially the people of Agai area in North Central Local Government Area, Niger State. A statement from the Office of Media Aid to the First Lady, Busola Kukoyi, says Mrs. Tinubu's prays that Almighty Allah grants the families and loved ones of those who lost their lives the strength and fortitude to bear the painful loss. Now, the pre-colonial and post-colonial evolution of Nigeria's railway system has come a long way since it was first established in the Nigeria Railway compound in Alagomeji in the 90s. Correspondent Omowumi Okewu visited one of the buildings where this history is being retold and filed in this report.
At the railway compound in Ebute Metta, where railway train complex is said to have started in 1898, one still gets to see the solid foundation laid over a century ago and on which some of the current structures are now built. As new structures are facing out the old, some old items are left and kept as artifacts, a reminder of where we're coming from as a country. This is Jakel House, located in the Nigeria Railway compound in Ebute Metta, Lagos. The house is named after a former general manager of the Nigeria Railway Corporation, Francis Jakel. The house now stands as a museum to show Nigerians the history of how trains used to run in the 80s and the 90s.
The house was built in 1898. It's 125 years this year. And the reason why this house is still standing is because it was built with a very solid concrete wall. When I say very solid, solid on the line, of which even a bullet cannot easily go in. That's why this building is still standing. And I'm even assuring that everybody that comes here that this building, apart from it's 125 years this year, this building can still stand for another 100 plus years to come. So, but we have, let's say, like 65% of wooden, because the floor is made with wood, or the ceilings are made with wood, windows, all wood. So almost 65% of this house is made with wood.
Nigeria's history, pre-colonial, post-colonial, and the history of what is now regarded as the modern railway Nigeria now enjoys has a home in these premises.
When I went like this, then it will be ringing at the other station. Then person will pick the line. After picking the line, then I will inform him that I have a train that is coming from my station A through your station B. Is it okay? If he says okay, then he drops this there. Then he has to press this there, then myself. We must press together so that the machine can release the key.
The railway heritage is not only preserved in the house, some are still evident on these railway tracks.
We have what we call pump trolley. Pump trolley is an object of usage in those days. What they use them for is when you have derailment on the rail track, the engineers, who are mostly Europeans, 2 of them will sit at the front, while Nigerians, who are always 4, they will be behind, pumping the machine. That's why it is called pumping machine. And of course, when you look through, you see that pumping machine, you need energy to do it. And of course, in those days, in some locations, society, they have a name for it. In Yoruba land, they call it Olomokuya.
Another historic building of note is this house, which has been used to portray pre-colonial movie scenes on movies like Olotue and Kunle Afolayan's October 1.
The Railway Museum is one of the 10th or 11th in Africa. And we ought to be very proud of people who actually came around to turn this place into a museum. And of course, like we had discussed, the railway never had intention of turning this place into a museum. But our founding father and some other groups of people who are knowledgeable brought about the issue of this place being turned into a railway museum.
With various calls for government to re-include history in schools' curriculum, these historians believe that this will further help the nation foster more development in the sector. Omaumi Okewo, LTV News.
The news at 8 continues after the short break.
Soar beyond boundaries and reach communities. The largest gathering of women changing history. It's the 2024 National Women's Conference, organized by the Committee of Wives of Lagos State Officials, CALSO, with the theme Soar Beyond Boundaries and Reach Communities. Starting from Tuesday, 10 September to Wednesday, 11 September 2024 at the Convention Center, Eco Hotel and Suite Victoria Island, Lagos. Time 9 a.m. daily. Renowned speakers will include Dr. Oluwatoni Adeyemi, Mrs. Temitope Okunu, Professor Rotimi Koka, and Honorable Mrs. Opeyemi Akindele, among others, who will be sharing the wealth of experience on various topics on how to prevent and manage communicable diseases, transformative social welfare, and boy-child development, among others. Special guest of honor, opening ceremony, His Excellency Governor Umo Eno of Akwa Ibom State. Special guest for the closing ceremony, His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State. And special guest gracing the gala night, His Excellency Governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State. Yes, there will be a gala night with mouth-watering prizes to be won. Conference fee is 120,000 naira for physical participants and 30,000 naira for virtual attendees. Physical stores are available. Come join us at the 2024 National Women's Conference as we inspire, empower, and soar beyond boundaries together. For more information, please visit our website www.calso2024nwc.org. Announcer, Chairman CALSO, Convener NWC, Dr. Mrs. Claudiana Sanwo-Olu, Vice Chairman CALSO and Co-Convener NWC, Chief Mrs. Oluremi Hamzat, Chairperson of the 2024 NWC, Professor Olufunke Adiyeyi.
Welcome back. Now, the Lagos State government has organized an Eco Explorers Boot Camp for children. General Manager, Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Tunde Ajayi, says educating children on environmental awareness is essential to fostering a generation that values and actively participates in protecting the environment. Her report.
It is a vibrant atmosphere at the inaugural Eco Explorers Boot Camp, a one-day summer camp for children. The children are immersed in activities such as painting, gardening, and interactive games that emphasize natural conservation and waste reduction, which is part of the Lagos State government's ongoing efforts to instill environmental awareness in the younger generation. These activities are designed not only to educate, but also to make environmental awareness an exciting adventure for the young ones.
Our focus is the children. We want to imbibe in them habits and the culture that they would be able to take into their adulthood, and they will make them responsible citizens of the environment, and they'll take actions that will protect the environment. We are looking forward to reducing, climate change, global warming, and the rest. So, and this habits and culture, when they imbibe it, will help them to make better decisions.
From different booths and the different activities, you can tell that it is very easy to imbibe this knowledge into kids, and they're happy about what they're learning. They're able to also transmit it to their friends. They will not stop talking about it. And I think that this is potentially huge. It is something that we can take beyond the shores of Ikeja and, extend beyond the immediate environment.
The children share the knowledge acquired at the program, which reflects the commitment of the state government in preserving the environment.
I learned that plants are the major part of the ecosystem.
I learned it's not good to pollute, or else the fish will get sick.
We're hoping to make sure that children imbibe the knowledge of the environment. We're hoping to make sure that children are able to first learn it, secondly transmit it to their friends, thirdly they live what they have learned. So things around recycling, things around upcycling. One of the booths has children making seats, like chairs, from waste paint buckets and foam, right? So it is just imbibing those simple things. You have waste PET bottles, you can cut them open and plant small things inside. So it's reusing the waste products, then recycling as much, or upcycling as simple as it looks, is something they can jump on.
As they are learning and as they're having fun, they are able to take notes of the things that they need to know to protect the environment. Like, for example, planting trees, not putting on the generators indiscriminately. They've also learned how to protect the natural resources in terms of the kind of animals. They shouldn't be killing animals indiscriminately. They've also learned how to recycle things that is waste, what people actually call as waste, but they've learned today that a waste is not waste until you waste it.
The Eco Explorers Boot Camp is part of LASEPA's broader initiative to engage the public in environmental protection and sustainability by targeting young children and their parents. Bukola Taylor Cole, LTV News.
And still on the environment, traders displaying their trade on the median in Lasu, Ojo, Alabarago and Okukumaiko along Lagos-Badagry Expressway have an ultimatum to vacate the sports. The Corps Marshal, Lagos State Environmental Sanitation Corps Major Olaniyi Olatubosun Cole, gave the ultimatum during an unscheduled visit to the areas. Dissatisfied with the filthy and unkept condition of the sports, assured traders of the readiness of his team to remove shanties and other illegal structures which constitute environmental nuisance on the corridor.
They've turned the median into a full-blown market. So the Honorable Commissioner for the Environment, Mr. Tokuma Wahab, has directed that we should remove all structures, all markets on the median from Yanoba to Okoko. We gave them 48 hours. So today again, we are giving them till Thursday morning. By Thursday morning, we'll commence the operation. Let them just leave, because when we come, we'll remove all the structures. So it's better for them to take their time and pack their things before we come for the operation.
The State Environmental Sanitation Corps helmsman with state government's determination to a safe and healthy environment in line with the Themes Plus agenda of the present administration. The Edo State government has postponed school resumption due to rising petrol prices and challenges faced by parents and guardians. In a statement signed by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Ojo Akinlonge, the postponement of resumption of all public and private schools has been postponed until further notice. The government urged parents, guardians and caregivers to monitor the activities of the children and wards closely given the current situation and the rising tension caused by the fuel price hike. Recall that schools in most parts of Nigeria are set to resume today Monday, September 9, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited recently increased the pump price of petrol to 855 naira across its retail outlets amid long queues at filling stations. The increase by the state oil company has accumulated in an equal increase by independent petroleum marketers to above 900 naira per litre, with black marketers selling above 1,000 naira per litre. Do you know you can donate your eye cornea after you pass on? Now, this special report takes a look at the importance of the eye cornea and how it can be given as a gift of sight to someone in desperate need of a transplant to treat reversible blindness. Here is the report.
It's often said that the eyes are the window to the soul. As windows, they allow humans view the world. The eyes can see about 200 degrees in all directions. They see millions of colors in varying shades. The eyes have different parts, including the iris, which is the colored part that regulates the amount of light entering the eye. The macula is a small sensitive area of the retina that gives central vision. The pupil is the opening at the center of the iris. The retina is a light-sensitive tissue at the back of the eye, and the cornea is the clear outer part of the eye's focusing system, located at the front of the eye. 80% of what we perceive comes through our sense of sight. By protecting the eyes, you reduce the odds of blindness and vision loss. Despite the importance of the eyes, many people tend to ignore the eye when they start giving early signs of defects.
Most people don't even have the culture of going for an eye test. Most people don't even know that they have glaucoma until they've lost the sight of one eye completely, and they start having accidents, maybe bumping into people and sort of like doing things. They can't reach out for cups or things like that on their table.
There are hundreds of different eye diseases and vision problems. Some have no cure, but many others are treatable.
Some people, they need glasses. Some people need some corrective procedures. Some people need eye drops so that they can see better. So what we have come out is that we need to ensure that everybody has access to care and that we are part of the implementation of the universal health coverage and universal eye care coverage for the world.
Although medical science has no way to transplant all eyes at this time, people now benefit from corneal transplant to treat reversible blindness. Donor corneas make this amazing sight-saving surgery possible.
When you see people and you say, you have brown eyes or blue eyes, that is because you have looked through the cornea and the cornea was transparent. If you have a car with a dirty windscreen, you'll hardly be able to see through to drive.
We have a condition called corneal opacity. The cornea is not seen. It's common in children and many other people, and people are blind from this. But if they get another cornea, the front of the eye, replaced for them, they can see again.
In Nigeria, 98 cornea operations with over 90% success rate have been performed, but more can be done if more eye banks are established. Your eyes are an important part of your health. Regular eye health appointments and eye examination is key to correcting or slowing most eye conditions. In addition, eating a healthy diet, wearing sunglasses, and giving your eyes rest can keep your eyes healthy. Bukola Taylor Cole, LTV News.
Thank you, Bukola. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency has predicted rainy and thundery weather conditions from Monday, September 9 to Wednesday across the country. NIMET's weather outlook, released over the weekend in Abuja, forecast isolated thunderstorms over parts of Katsina, Sokoto, Kano, Zamfara, Kebbi, Kaduna, Adamawa and Taraba State in the northern region during the Monday's morning hours. Later in the day, isolated thunderstorms are expected over parts of Kaduna, Borno, Gombe, Bauchi, Adamawa, Yobe, Taraba, Sokoto, Zamfara and Kebbi states as intermittent rains are expected over parts of Benue, Niger, the Federal Capital Territory, Kogi and Kwara states during the morning hours. In the afternoon and evening hours, localized rains are envisaged over parts of the Federal Capital Territory, Plateau, Niger and Nasarawa states as isolated rains are expected over parts of Ebonyi, Abia, Imo, Enugu, Delta, Bayelsa Rivers and Cross River states during the morning hours. According to NIMET, localized rains are anticipated over parts of Ebonyi, Abia, Imo, Enugu, Ondo, Anambra, Osun, Oyo, Akwa Ibom, Ogun, Cross River, Rivers, Bayelsa and Edo states later in the day. Residents are, however, advised to stay informed through weather updates from NIMET. Now, for years, communities along the coastline have fallen victims to ocean surges. Our environment correspondent, Bukola Teloko, visited one of such communities in Lagos, Akodoise, and reports that residents cannot sleep with their two eyes closed as they fear the ocean will consume their community. Her report.
Coastal city, sea level rise is one of the major impacts of climate change. The rise in sea level is causing coastal flooding and erosion, as well as the loss of coastal habitats that provide natural shoreline protection against the ocean surge. Now, the loss of these habitats is increasing the number of communities at risk in Lagos. This is Akodoise, a serene coastal community in Lekki LCDA. Akodoise has been in existence for over 150 years, with the dwellers engaging in fishing, coconut trade and farming. Today, Akodoise is being threatened by the sea. These natives recall the good old days when coconut trees lined up the shoreline.
When I was born, you can see in this front, like you can sell a mine. Every yard is full of coconuts. At least before you can see, maybe you are going to see, you want to see, it's like it's a mile far. You are going to pass through a lot of coconut, different family with different coconut tree, because that is their main source of income.
Presently, Akodoise is a shadow of its old self as a result of ocean surge, with tidal waves devouring the community's infrastructure as residents watch helplessly.
It's annoying in the middle of the night. If you don't wake up on time, it will affect us. We are not safe as far as the ocean is concerned now. We are not safe.
My primary school is Jakondi Primary School, and it's very far away from the sea before, but everything has gone. If you can look at this foundation here, you can see the foundation of Jakondi Primary School. You can see what the ocean surge has done to the people of this community. Even the students, they are not really enough. They are fair enough sometimes to come to school because of the ocean surge.
The first stage started, taking the burial grounds out. Even before we know, the burial grounds already in the ocean. Before we know everything, because it cannot be, junction up then. We have to be, taking the burial ground together. That means the person is going to follow the ocean. We have to leave it when it's surging.
87-year-old Noibat Jinodu now lives in the hut after her home was swept away by the sea.
When the ocean surge starts, everyone would run helter-skelter. The ocean destroyed my house 4 times, and now I live in a makeshift hut.
I was a house owner, but now a tenant. It is not good enough for people to say they are going to the Bale's house, and only to find out the sea has swept away Bale's house. I am appealing to the federal and state governments to come to our aid.
On its part, the Lagos State government says it is taking measures to solve the challenges.
We want to know what the problem is. Where were we 100 years ago? I mean, this is not new or strange to us. We saw what happened in Victoria Island when we nearly lost Victoria Island, and they had to do something to it. We're actually in talks with CDR, and we're looking at them carrying out the research and then letting us know what the problems. We're talking forces of nature here. We must know what to do before we take on nature. Otherwise, we may end up creating more problems than solving the problem.
The government assures residents that it will not fold its hands and watch the ocean destroy the community.
Understanding how they feel, I think it's also important to know that, to put their minds at rest. I will definitely and personally be going there to observe firsthand and to engage with them and put their minds at rest.
The impact of rising sea levels and ocean surge is both an environmental and an economic problem which requires immediate action. Bukola Taylor Cole, LTV News.
Coming up. Federal government debunks increase in value-added tax from 7.5 to 10%. That's in business news. Join us again.
On business news tonight, the federal government has signed a $1 billion iron ore steel deal project with China. This was revealed in a statement by the Special Advisor to the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Kehinde Bamigbeton. The deal was signed for Kogi State as a breakthrough in the federal government's campaign to make local value addition the model of development in the solid minerals sector. While addressing the promoters' chat and Capstone Integrated Limited on the sidelines of the visit of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to China, Alake pledged the cooperation of the federal government with the promoters to ensure the delivery of the project as fast as possible. He said the federal government has reversed the pit-to-port policy under which mining companies exported raw materials to extraction with local value addition, which is the best guarantee of jobs for the youths, skills transfer and better balance of trade between the country and the trading partners. He noted that to promote local value addition, he has announced that applicants for licenses to mine must disclose plans for processing the raw minerals as part of the conditions for approval. He said the trade balance between Nigeria and China is over $1 billion in favor of China because the minerals imported from Nigeria are essentially in raw forms. Once Nigeria starts to export finished or semi-finished value-added mineral products to China and other trading partners, the balance of trade will be more favorable and foreign exchange earnings will improve. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, has debunked reports during the rounds that the rate for the value-added tax, VAT, has been upwardly adjusted to 10% from 7.5%. The minister, in a statement signed by him, affirmed that the VAT rate as contained in relevant tax laws and chargeable on goods and services remains at 7.5%. He adds that it is on record that the federal government, as part of efforts to bring relief to Nigerians and businesses, recently ordered the stoppage of import duties, tariffs and taxes on rice, wheat, beans and other food items. Nigeria's company income tax CIT surged by 150.83% to 2.47 trillion naira in Q2 of 2024. A report by the National Bureau of Statistics said the increase was from 984.61 billion naira recorded in Q1 2024. On a year-on-year basis, the CIT went up by 59.52% from 1.55 trillion naira in Q2 2023. On a quarter-on-quarter basis, the NBS reported a growth rate of 150.83% from 984.61 billion naira in Q1 2024. The report shows local payments received by 1.35 trillion naira, while foreign CIT payments contributed 1.12 trillion naira in Q2 2024. On a quarter-on-quarter basis, agriculture, forestry and fishing recorded the highest growth rate with 474.50%, followed by financial and insurance activities and manufacturing with 429.76% and 414.15%. In terms of sectoral contributions, the top 3 largest shares in Q2 2024 were financial and insurance activities with 15.53%, manufacturing with 8.99%, and information and communication with 7.84%. Nevertheless, the activities of households as employers, undifferentiated goods and services, producing activities of households for own use recorded the least share with 0%, followed by water supply, sewage and waste management with 0.02%, and activities of extraterritorial organizations and bodies with 0.03%. And that's all on business news. Up next are today's figures on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
B United Football Academy from Alimosho has emerged champions of the C Memorial Sports Under-15 League Championship concluded over the weekend, beating Miracle Football Academy from Ijesha by 2-0. Man of the match, Muhyiddin Oyediran scored in each half to ensure the last year's second runner-up went further this year by winning the title and top prize. B United FA has been exceptional in the tournament. The coach Badru Aziz tutored side came from behind to beat Lofty Skills Soccer Academy from Ikorodu in the semi-finals and proved too much for Miracle FA in the finals.
In the last edition, second edition, we came third. We defeated by Fortune FA Oshodi with 2-1 minutes go. And they said that if they have the opportunity to play this year edition, they can do more better. And unfortunately, most players that said that they can do more better, they are not qualified to play this year edition. So, and they came out to support the young ones.
I pray for better days ahead, but in this losing, to me, it's dash, because I know what my players can do. I know their ability, but it just happened today. And whatever happened, we take it as fate. It's not easy. I will congratulate them.
Earlier in the third place playoff, Lofty Skills created history by recording the biggest win in the C Memorial Under-15 League Championship, humiliating Bright Future Stars Football Academy from Ajegunle by 10-1.
It's not an easy one when you're leading 2-0 in a semi-final stage of a tournament as big as this, and you end up losing that game 2-2. Those boys actually abhorred those pain in them 2 days ago that we played semi-final, and today they actually released the anger on their opponent for the top team, and that is why you could see the scoreline.
Medals, trophies and cash prizes were presented to the top 3 teams, but the champions rewarded with ₦1 million. Outstanding individual players got cash rewards, prizes and educational scholarship, while the best coach and referee also received cash rewards and prizes. Stakeholders, including the chairman, Lagos State Football Association, Gafar Ali Ahmed, commended the initiator and sponsor of the tournament, Oluwaseyi Amos, for enhancing grassroots development, encouraging talent discovery and youth development.
If FIFA say let them play, we concur with FIFA, we allow them to play. And that is what C Memorial is doing, is making sure children are playing ball. So FA already keyed into this one, because this is the 3rd edition.
This is beautiful. This is good job. This is what we really need in Nigeria right now. Bringing all these kids away from the streets, bringing them to be someone in life. And this is what C Memorial has just done. And it's so lovely.
Very excited that the championship came home, because this is where it started. And kudos to the host, C Memorial. He has been doing a lot for the young ones.
The SS U15 League Championship, which started 3 years ago, has continued to grow. Amos expresses excitement with the success achieved this year, stating that the tournament recorded great performances from participating teams. The football administrator commended the quality of talent and level of soccer artistry exhibited by the youngsters, while promising discovered talent will be supported to develop their skills through exposure to more tournaments.
We minimize age cheats, and the players that played in this tournament, they represented 15 years old, and that is the aim and objective of this tournament, to have a grassroots players that are still young, that we can mentor and properly mold them to become a better player in the future.
16 teams drawn from different parts of Lagos participated in the 3rd edition of the annual tournament, which ran for 2 weeks.
And on the foreign scene, Princess of Wales Catherine has announced that she has completed her course of chemotherapy following a shock cancer diagnosis earlier this year. The 42-year-old princess said the last 9 months had been incredibly tough for the family, her husband Prince William and their children Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis. Catherine added that she's doing what she can to stay cancer-free. The announcement came weeks after it was disclosed that the British head of state, King Charles III, had also been diagnosed with cancer. Recall that Catherine announced in March that she was undergoing a course of preventive chemotherapy for an undisclosed cancer. And to end the news, a recap of our major stories. President Bola Tinubu has condoled with the government and people of Niger State over the petrol tanker explosion, which claimed the lives of over 40 people. The Lagos State government has organized an Eco Explorers Boot Camp for children to foster values in protecting the environment. And on the foreign scene, we told you that the Princess of Wales, Catherine, is set to return to public life as she completes chemotherapy cancer treatment. For more news, connect with Lagos Television on their social media platforms. And for our parting shot tonight, success isn't always about greatness. It's about consistency. Consistent hard work leads to success. Greatness will come. Now, please remember to call Lagos toll-free lines 767 or 112 in case of emergencies. Thank you for watching. I am Adibimpe Omotayo.